Working tends to be a tedious task, right? However, you always try to do your best. But hasn't that been the case the last few days? You feel more tired and stressed than usual and wonder what to do about it. Before we answer any questions, we need to look at the root of the problem. It all starts when you feel like your day is going to be hard, when the third alarm goes off and you haven't even gotten out of bed yet. You just grab your phone, and the time you can take to get ready, you just use it to entertain yourself for a while you kill time. That's how your day has started in the worst possible way. Right when your battery is fully charged, when we have the most energy, we spend that energy on activities that have nothing productive left for you. And sometimes, the very content that talks about productivity and planning actually does the opposite. And now I'm going to tell you why. It turns out that when we are expert procrastinators, planning becomes our best ally. Because when we plan with these tools, which can be digital planners, something very interesting happens in our brain. When we have established what our tasks are going to be for the day, just by writing them down, we can trick the brain. Just the fact that we have written down all these activities that we need to do, not just for the day, but for the month, for the year, or even for our business plans, we are letting our brain know that we are being productive. Because just by doing that activity, planning, which is one of the areas that our brain loves so much, it's like giving it candy. Because just by doing that task, we are already telling ourselves, I am being productive because I am doing a task that any time and stress manager would applaud me for. And so making plans, you can take a month, you can take a year, you can take your whole life. Because motivation, and I've said this many times, but I'm not going to get tired of saying it, motivation doesn't happen before action. It only happens after action. And how are you going to overcome your mind? Because you know our mind can be our best ally, but it can also be our worst enemy. Our mind is ready to protect us, not to take us out of our seats and put us in danger. Because you know that those activities that scare us, those activities that make us feel insecure because they scare us, we're afraid of rejection. We're afraid of being judged badly, and because we're afraid, the mind protects us. And when we succumb to the fear of not finishing in the time we had planned, we're going to procrastinate even more, especially when we have to do those activities that we know will benefit us. What can we do about it? There is a formula that I'm going to share with you today. Anais, sleep a little longer, don't go to the gym, don't shoot that video, don't write that script. Why go to the construction site if you're just going to get dirty, covered in dust, sunburned and sweaty? Better to stay here quietly, watch, have some coffee, and start reading. On that day, when I also feel a little tired, I say to myself, don't push yourself too hard today because you don't feel so energetic. Just go, lift a little bit, do a little elliptical over there, lift a little bit, and come back. It's just to keep the habit from breaking. And you know what happens. Because motivation is something that happens after the action. Once you start working on it, it kicks in once you're in motion. As soon as I go to the gym and I actually start to feel lazy, the motivation starts to kick in. And little by little, I feel more motivated. I go from feeling lazy to doing a little elliptical, and all of a sudden, I'm breaking all my records, and I feel great. And when I go home, I have another accomplishment in my life, which is also a very important accomplishment because I'm looking for freedom everywhere, and I know that a healthy body gives me freedom. The surest way to take freedom from your life is to get sick, to become a slave to your physical limitations. When you can't move, when you can't walk downstairs, when you can't run, when you can't lift anything because your body is so damaged that it can't do it, then you lose freedom. Exercise and good nutrition are some of the things that give me freedom, and I have to make them the #1 priority in my life. So when I wake up, just without thinking, because here's the secret, you have to stop listening to that little mental voice that's protecting you. And so, with laziness, you'll find that in a few moments, motivation will come. There's no other way to motivate yourself every time procrastination crosses your mind. Ask yourself 2 questions. What will you gain by doing these activities? What are the benefits of doing these activities? And the second consideration is, What will you lose if you don't do these activities? What are the disadvantages of not doing these activities? By not doing the activities, we feel bad, and by feeling bad, we distance ourselves even further from the possibility of getting things done. And then we enter the tunnel of procrastination, which can get longer and longer until we see no end. Because we don't procrastinate all the time. We have to eliminate that from our lives once and for all by using the second hack, which is the 5-second rule. And it's a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you do things. I've always wanted to start my own business, but fear gets in the way, and I procrastinate. I know my health will improve if I exercise and eat right, but my job takes up all my time. How many times have you made up your mind to do something and didn't do it? How many times have you resolved to go to the gym and didn't? How many times have you decided to tell that girl you like that you like her? How many times in your life have you relied on the 5-second rule? Here's the thing. The moment you decide to do something, you have 5 seconds to act. That's what life is about. Life is now. And we can't put it off because death can interfere with our plans. We have to act now, in the next 5 seconds. If you want to start a business, apply the 5-second rule. In 5 seconds, you have to start working on that business. Someone once said to me, well, what if I want to open a restaurant? Well, in 5 seconds, you start making the food that you're going to sell. You take some pictures, you put them on Facebook, and you start selling. Then you open your website and start perfecting it. Meanwhile, in 5 seconds, you start working. I'm selling these dishes to everybody. I have a restaurant. I just opened today and we deliver. That's how you can start a restaurant, and that's how you can start whatever you want. We have technology on our side. And not just technology, we have everything on our side today. We can't let more than 5 seconds go by without acting. We can't postpone our lives. Do you think you are ready to start a fitness business? Is your body in shape? Do you know about nutrition? Do you know about anatomy? Do you know how the body is composed and how to improve it? You can start your fitness business without opening a gym. You don't need one. Take some good pictures, post them on Instagram, tell others how they can improve their body, their life, their nutrition, how they can nourish themselves, how they can relieve stress through exercise, how they can improve their self-esteem. Start building a community, and they will naturally ask you for programs to improve it because you become a reference point. The example is a silent command. You want to lose weight? In 5 seconds, go to the refrigerator and throw away all the junk you have there. How often have you wanted to write a book? In 5 seconds, start writing the first page. Want a partner? Make the decision. Finally, work up the courage to tell that person you like them. In 5 seconds, pick up the phone and ask them out. There is nothing or no one, no audio, no conference, no book, no video. No one can get out of their seat to make you do anything. Only you can do it, only you can do it. We are not dependent on a mood, we are only dependent on action. Motivation is in action. Do things, stop planning. Often planning is the great deception that becomes a stumbling block because you are looking for perfection, because you are trying to make your plans more beautiful, more colorful. It's okay to make plans, but don't focus on them. Don't fall in love with the plans.